The alien crowd mocked his simple device. Then witnessed the impossible. The great hall of the Zephyrian Science Academy buzzed with excited chatter as hundreds of the galaxy's most brilliant minds gathered for the annual Technology Summit. The elegant, blue-skinned Zephyrian women filled the massive chamber, their crystalline jewelry catching the light from the floating orbs above. Ambassador Kyla stood at the podium, her silver hair flowing like liquid metal as she addressed the crowd. Today we witness demonstrations from across the galaxy. She announced, her voice carrying the musical quality typical of her species. Our first presenter comes from a newly discovered world called Earth. A wave of amused whispers swept through the audience. Earth was known throughout the galaxy as a primitive backwater planet. The humans had only recently developed basic space travel, and their technology was considered laughably simple by galactic standards. Maya walked onto the stage carrying nothing but a small metal box roughly the size of her palm. The human woman appeared unremarkable compared to the exotic alien beings watching her. She wore simple clothes and had plain brown hair that fell to her shoulders. The Zephyrian scientist Vera leaned over to her colleague Nala and whispered, "Look at that tiny device. What could such a primitive species possibly show us that we haven't seen before?" Nala nodded in agreement, her purple eyes sparkling with amusement. "I heard they still use chemical rockets to leave their planet." How embarrassing. Maya approached the center of the stage and held up her device. "This is what we call a quantum resonance amplifier," she said in clear, steady voice. The audience erupted in laughter. The concept of quantum resonance was elementary science taught to Zephyrian children. Ambassador Kayla raised her hand for silence, though she too seemed amused. "Please continue," she said. Maya placed the small box on the demonstration table and stepped back. The device appeared completely ordinary with no visible controls or displays. Several alien scientists in the front row exchanged mocking glances. "Watch carefully," Maya said as she pressed a barely visible button on the device's surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a low humming sound filled the hall. The floating light orbs began to flicker and the massive holographic displays around the room started showing strange patterns. The audience's laughter died away as they realized something unusual was occurring. Dr. Iris, a renowned Andromedan physicist, stood up from her seat in alarm. Her scanning equipment was detecting impossible energy readings. The small human device was somehow interfacing with every piece of technology in the building. "What is happening?" Kala demanded, her musical voice now sharp with concern. Maya smiled calmly. "The quantum field generated by this device can communicate with and modify any technology within a 2-kilometer radius. It doesn't matter how advanced or alien. The technology is the quantum resonance finds a way to connect." The Zephyrian computers began displaying human text. The environmental systems started playing Earth music. The security barriers activated and deactivated in perfect rhythm. Every piece of technology in the academy was now under Maya's control. "Impossible," shouted Dr. Luna, a brilliant Centaurian engineer. "Our systems have quantum encryption barriers. No primitive device could penetrate them." Maya touched another control on her device. Suddenly, every alien's personal communication device activated simultaneously, displaying a simple message in their native languages. "Greetings from Earth." The hall fell silent as the implications hit them. This wasn't just technological superiority. This was complete technological dominance. A device smaller than most alien tools was controlling systems built by civilizations thousands of years more advanced. Ambassador Kayla's composure cracked. "How does this work?" she demanded. Maya picked up her device and walked closer to the stunned audience. "Human technology developed differently than yours," she explained. "We focused on adaptability and universal compatibility rather than raw power. Our quantum resonance technology can interface with any system because it speaks the fundamental language of physics itself." Dr. Iris's voice was barely a whisper, but the energy requirements alone should be impossible for such a small device. Maya opened the back of her device, revealing a core no larger than a marble. This contains a miniaturized fusion reactor paired with quantum field generators. We've learned to pack enormous power into tiny spaces because our world taught us that efficiency matters more than size. The alien scientists stared, in shocked silence. Many had devices 10 times larger that produced a fraction of the power. Maya's simple box contained. Vera, who had been mocking the human technology just minutes before, now looked pale. "You're saying that tiny reactor is more powerful than our city-sized generators, not more powerful." Maya corrected, "More efficient. Your generators waste 90% of their energy on unnecessary processes. Ours channels every bit of power exactly where it needs to go." She pressed another button. On her device, the lights in the hall dimmed, then brightened in a complex pattern that perfectly matched the heartbeats of every being present. The device was reading their biometric data and responding in real time. The silence stretched on as the galaxy's greatest minds tried to process what they had witnessed. A species they had dismissed as primitive had just demonstrated technology that made their most advanced systems look like children's toys. Dr. Luna finally found her voice. "How many of these devices does Earth possess?" Maya's smile was enigmatic. "Every human carries one," she said. "These aren't special military weapons. They're standard-issue communication devices. We call them smartphones." The hall erupted in chaos as the implications sank in. If every human carried technology this advanced, what did their actual weapons look like? What about their spacecraft? What about their industrial systems? Ambassador Kayla struggled to maintain her diplomatic composure. "Miss Maya," she said carefully, "would Earth be interested in sharing this technology with the Galactic Council?" Maya considered the question thoughtfully. "We're always open to peaceful cooperation," she replied. "But we've learned to be careful about sharing our most important innovations." She held up the device one final time. "Before dismissing human technology as primitive, remember that sometimes the smallest packages contain the greatest surprises." With that, Maya pressed a final button on her device. Every piece of technology in the hall returned to normal operation. The demonstration was over, but its impact would reshape galactic politics forever. As Maya walked off the stage, the alien scientists sat in stunned silence, finally understanding that they had severely underestimated the newest members of the galactic community. The humans had proven that advanced didn't always mean complex, and that true innovation often came from thinking differently rather than just thinking bigger. The age of human technological supremacy had quietly begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.